back to the Power Performance Podcast. Your host, Scott Phillips, and today we are with Tim Shaw. Tim, how are we doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm good. Now, Tim is the owner of tsmanual Therapy, correct?
That is correct.
All right, let's talk a little bit about let's go with broad term tsmanual Therapy. If you had to explain it in one sentence, what is it?
It includes manual therapy and hyperbaric oxygen therapy.
All right, very cool. Now, Tim is a member here at Reach Athletics in Acton. Now, where's TS located? Where's your office located?
Office is located in Acton, right down Great Road, just before the Route 2 Rotary.
Okay.
Great straight side, so it's really easy to get to, really easy to find.
All right, awesome, very cool. Now, let's talk about Reach first. How long have you been here at Reach?
Let's see, we moved here to Acton in May, so I started Reach probably in June.
Nice.
So,
how's your experience? You like it?
It's unbelievable, and funny. I put a post up on Facebook a couple days ago saying, there's a meme saying something blowing up in the back, and then a toy airplane flying, and saying me going to CrossFit Reach and all my troubles behind me, and it's actually. You don't really know how much you need all the people and coaches at Reach until you actually join in the middle of the pandemic. So, that being said, it's been pretty awesome here.
Yeah,
so.
No, for sure, 100%. And I've told people before, I haven't been here for that long. I just came over a year, and never looked back.
Yeah,
Absolutely never looked back. It's absolutely incredible here. Let's talk about CrossFit a little bit. What's some of your favorite parts, or what made you find CrossFit?
What made me find CrossFit is that I thought I was in shape, and at a private-owned gym with personal training and boxing.
Yep. And
it was kind of being run very unprofessionally and run into the ground, and I needed to find someplace quick. And I had been doing CrossFit home workouts for several years in a small apartment. And then I decided that, I got to find somewhere solid, so I might as well join an actual box.
Yeah, 100%. Now, let's talk about what you do. Where did you start, right? Now, obviously, you're the owner of your own business, tsmanual Therapy. But where did you start? Like, what did you study in college? Like, what is the whole starting of all this?
So, the whole start about this is I started with an internship with the Detroit Red Wings organization, and then I stayed on with them for 3 Stanley Cup runs as kind of like a backstage kind of hand assistant through 97, 98, back-to-back, and then 2002. And then in the offseason, I was part of medical staff for our minor league baseball team. And then after college was sports medicine and athletic training. And then after I finished my time in pro sports, I got into hospital setting, orthopedics and sports medicine here in Boston, Children's Hospital. I was there for a good 10 years. It was like a everyday medical school education because a lot of my time was spent in an operating room.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of information that a lot of people spend a lot of money on.
Yeah.
And I got it. They paid me to learn how to do things better and become a better professional in the healthcare field. And the in-between time of pro sports and hospital work, I was in a couple of outpatient physical therapy settings with some pretty good mentors too.
Very cool.
And that led me to, I didn't want to go back to school and put myself in another, $100,000, $150,000 worth of debt. So I went to obligatory massage therapy school, and I liked it because it's the baseline, but you can take it anywhere you want to after that. So, and what I do now is it's called manual therapy, and that's the main part of it. But that, kind of ties in with, basically eval of anything that's going on with somebody. I work with anybody pertaining any serious sickness they're recovering from, or injury, or trauma, or just everyday people.
Yeah.
So it's a good world, and it's taken me this long to get here, but like I said, it's always evolving, and that's what I like about it.
100%. We talk about that all the time.
Yeah.
So my background is I studied exercise science, as well as coaching, things like that, in college at Westfield.
Nice.
But the number one thing anyone in kind of the sciences field talks about, it's always evolving.
Absolutely.
Everything's changing. It's just staying in the game. and your thoughts and your knowledge change as well. So like with every year, you learn more, you pick up new habits, you pick up new techniques, you learn different things, and that's kind of how this train rolls when it comes to health in the body.
Yeah.
So you started off as an athletic trainer.
Yep.
Very nice. And it was pro hockey right away.
Yeah, pro hockey right away. I was fortunate enough to live in the same town as the minor league team as the Red Wings, so that's how we kind of got onto that. And,
Nice.
From there it just escalated, and
Yeah.
it's cool because you meet so many people. You form so many bonds with people that most of the rest of the world is like they just see them on TV.
Yeah. Well, connections, right?
Right.
It's all connections.
It's absolutely connections. So.
Yeah, connections. Just making connections. But then, so you moved on to Boston's Children's Hospital?
Moved down to Boston Children's Hospital, where unbelievable people that I was with, and some of them are still there, and a lot of the physicians are still there, and I owe them a lifetime worth of gratitude because they taught me a lot. They taught me how to be a professional. They taught me how to be a grown man and handle life's problems and life's issues and be stoic about it, and just work hard and be humble, and it really went a long way.
Yeah. Oh no, I bet 100%. And now you're in manual therapy.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
How long have you been in manual therapy for?
I've been practicing manual therapy probably since 2009. So 10 years or so.
Nice.
It's fun. Again, it's always evolving. And it's funny because some of the mentors people that I study and stick around with and follow, one guy will say, this is what I believe now about how to treat things and handle things, different situations with different people. But don't get married to it because it could change overnight.
Well, exactly.
Right.
Exactly. Well, it's the same thing as like my side of things is more like health and fitness.
Right.
But it's the same ordeal here. But then the number one thing that we break down when it comes to CrossFit all the time is like you don't know what it is until you're in it.
Exactly.
Right. And it's the same thing with anything. But it's the same thing with any sort of. I have a lot of friends from college that are athletic trainers.
Yeah.
First show up at school, a lot of them didn't know what it was until they were in it.
Right.
Right? Physical therapy. Don't know what it is until you're in it.
Right.
Even like if you're an athlete that has to go to physical therapy, you might be like, oh, they're just going to help me recover, ice, things like that. It's different. It's so
totally
different than what you expect. And that's anything that you do. Like if it's health related, if it's even just business related.
Right.
Your first week on the job, like you were going to get a whole wake up call.
That's right.
Essentially. Now, with you, every day, is it mostly everyday people? Is it people that post surgery? Like, what is your kind of clientele that you serve up there?
It's a mixed bag.
Yeah.
I get athletes. I get people who are triathlon athletes and CrossFit athletes. I get people who are ex-professional athletes still. I get elderly people that are trying to deal with, different conditions that they have over the years.
Yeah.
People with like chronic conditions, fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue syndrome. People that now I've created a program of COVID recovery for post-coronavirus patients to come in and use that's more of a hyperbaric chamber treatment series of sessions. But, I see it's a mixed bag and I like it. I like it that way. Then it actually tests you every single day. It tests you to adapt to what's walking in the door.
Yeah.
I think, kind of like what your world's like. Somebody comes in, they're the first guy that walks in the door, a woman, they're a great athlete. They're dialed in, they're ripped, they can do all the movements and gymnastics and everything. And then the three people behind them have three separate things going on, and they're all different ages, and you have to scale it down and adapt.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So, it's just interesting how the two kind of tie together so much.
Yeah.
And
that was my next question. Yeah. How do you see manual therapy and CrossFit? How do they cross over? Obviously, they cross over in someone blows a shoulder out, that's the simple crossover. But is there things that you see where you've helped people come over injuries, or you've helped people pre-injury? I know that's big for a lot of athletes now, is doing prehab on surgeries or prehab to prevent things like baseball players, for example.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's an ongoing treatment of yourself. You call it what you want. Prehab, I like that term. People call it self-care. But I think that if the thing about the whole CrossFit mantra and the whole CrossFit world is that if you don't take care of yourself from start to finish, and that means you don't get up and you don't feel your body right. You don't hydrate your body right, and then to get to that workout or training session, you're not going to be able to do the training session to your full capacity.
Yeah.
And that sets you up again for afterwards. Like, okay, what do I need to do afterwards? I need to take care of myself. I need to have a team of people around me to, like, somebody like me that will come in and, like, help you recover with manual therapy, or help you recover with manual therapy, or some isolated instrument, like Graston, or whatever. I use some of those tools too, cupping, or like Theragun, or all those, and jump in the hyperbaric chamber. So, that stuff is what I tie into the whole fitness and CrossFit mantra, is that you gotta take care of yourself.
Yeah.
If you can't take care of yourself, you're not going to be able to progress in the gym and progress through your CrossFit journey. It's going to stay stagnant.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big part of it.
Yeah.
And I think that people get caught up with the fact that, I'm good, I don't feel anything, and all of a sudden they were able to do specific movements and workouts, and all of a sudden they can't even do a pull-up.
Yeah.
Or, they can't even do 10 push-ups in a row because they're too restricted or they're hurt, So,
well, it's taking care of your body. And I tell the way that I talk to anyone, and it doesn't matter what you're in.
Right.
You're in your sports, it's in sports, personal training, boxing, CrossFit, doesn't matter whatever.
Yeah.
When it comes to your body, it's just like money.
Yeah.
Invest your money,
Right.
but then invest on yourself too.
Yeah.
Like, you're trying to make something get better for longevity's sake.
Yeah.
Right? So if that means, I tell people all the time, like, oh, my shoulders are a little tight. Well, crossover symmetry takes 5 minutes.
There you go.
If that. You know what I mean?
There you
And
go.
that's I use that as a kind of hab type style thing.
Yeah.
I want to do it so that I don't have to do it at a PT office one day.
Right.
I don't have to do it where it's like I'm doing it because I now messed something up.
Right.
I'm doing it so I don't mess something up.
You're doing it on your time.
Yeah, I'm doing it on my time. Those little things, right? That hit a foam roller, right? If you get the feeling of like you're leaving and your hips feel tight, like they probably are. So just stretch it out for a minute, right? So you feel better tomorrow. So like when you come in tomorrow, you're not shut down all of a sudden.
Yeah.
So it's the workout here at the gym, but then it's also, what am I doing before the workout?
Yeah.
What am I doing after?
Yeah.
Hydrate. The correct food, things like that. It's all one big circle.
Yeah.
But it's the same thing relating into manual therapy, right? Like you probably see people that, I don't know if you can attest to this, but people that come in and then all of a sudden they're like, now I feel great. I want to continue forward with this because now I can keep working on my longevity. My body feels good. Yeah. Things like that.
Absolutely. It's just, people, that's the biggest thing, is that people don't take advantage of, people like me come in and to take care of themselves. And when they do, they're like, the light bulb goes on. And it's great because you don't have to come in every day, but you just have to come in enough to what fits your schedule and your lifestyle.
Yeah.
There's none of my treatments are the same. And I know a lot of people say that to do what I do, but honestly, they're not. My approach is not the same with everybody. Yeah. It's the same thing with, like, you're going to go and you're going to do a workout, whatever you're going to do. Yeah. You're going to climb a rock wall, or you're going to come in and you're going to, like, RX 5 workouts in a row at a CrossFit gym. It's not a one-size-fits-all model. No. And it's the same thing with what I do for people. It's not I'll talk to somebody differently when they walk in the door.
Well, that's the thing. It's a mixed bag, and it's a mixed bag for everybody. On what you need. What you need to keep your body healthy before you get injured. What you need if you are injured.
Right.
What you need. I mean, it related back to CrossFit, intensity-wise, weight-wise. Like, everyone's different. It's like that example you gave where it's like, all right, I have 3 people walk in, one's 12, one's 40, one's 70. Yeah. All going to do the same workout right next to each other, but they all need different things. Exactly. Same thing. You could have 3 people, 12-year-old, 40-year-old, 70-year-old, come in with something wrong with their shoulder. Yeah. They all might need something else. What I mean? The body's just an amazing tool. And
it is.
It's an amazing machine, but every person's body's different, and everyone needs something a touch different.
That's right.
Now, let's talk. I've always been intrigued on this, so I want to get your scoop. Yeah. Let's talk about a hyperbaric chamber. Yeah. What is it? What does it do? I've always been intrigued, so I would love to hear kind of you talk about it.
So hyperbaric chamber is, you're in a compressed environment. Like, basically, it's like flying in an airplane. Okay. Takeoff and landing, right? Yeah. It's a compressed cabin when you fly in an airplane. It's the same thing with the chamber. There's two different types of chambers. There's a soft chamber and there's a hard shell chamber. Most people, if you Google it, you'll find out what hospitals use. And those are huge. They're like almost the size of this room. You walk in and you sit in like big airline first class chairs that face each other, and they pump in 100% pure oxygen, and you just sit there for however long.
Yeah.
The hard shelled one and the soft one that I have, it inflates. You lay down in it. I mean, you can do anything you want in it, but the goal is to give you a surplus of mitochondrial cells, red and white blood cells, and the level of oxygen in your body. My wife hates it when I tell people this, but the simplest terms I can put it is that it's legalized blood doping. We don't take blood out. We just create more surplus inside of your own body.
Yeah.
So that all of your vital organs run more efficiently.
Yeah.
And run the way they're supposed to run.
Well, that's all essentially what kind of relates back to like a lactic threshold.
Exactly.
All it is how much oxygen through the bloodstream can we spread to the body.
Right.
And then at what point does your body stop doing it?
Right.
And then how much can it recover or anything like that? And then how much can we spread the oxygen out? Again, that's all it's doing when you're working out or you're building your metabolic capacity. That's all it is.
Absolutely. And so another good analogy that I tell people is that I don't recommend that people drink carbonated drinks or sodas, but a lot of people do. And if you take a bottle of carbonated drink and you open it slowly and the bubbles come to the top and it forms like a really white ring or a white head on it, basically those O2 bubbles, those carbonated bubbles, are shrinking to the top because they're going from an area of low concentration to area of high concentration to area of low concentration. Well, that's what laying in the chamber or being in a hyperbaric chamber does. It's going to shrink the O2 molecules to a size where they're going to absorb immediately or almost immediately into your bloodstream. And then that's going to create more mitochondrial cells, and it's going to create more red and white blood cells, which in turn helps your heart, your liver, your kidneys, your stomach, your digestion, your sleep, your recovery, your brain, any injuries, issues that you have. I use a lot for most any autoimmune disease. A lot of people come in with autoimmune disease that have underlying issues. I use it for them, and it works out well. People with ADD, ADHD. It's people who are recovering from all kinds of viruses, sicknesses. We live in a COVID world now. I'm trying to get more people in now for the program to run through 10 sessions to start with for that, because that attacks the immune system and it fries the neurological system, and hyperbaric therapy helps that as well. It's just a more regenerative therapy. And now that they're finding it's one of the key ingredients to the whole movement across the world of the anti-aging process. Movement's one of them, but hyperbaric oxygen therapy is another one. It's just another piece of the puzzle. So it's interesting. It's an interesting tool to use. Some people I use it just exclusively for them when they walk in the office, but some people I'll combine that with manual therapy. But it's definitely a cool thing.
That sounds cool.
It calms you right down. I can tell you that much.
Now is everything is a process? Yes. Right. Yeah. So I'm assuming now. Is it a process like do it once, feel okay, do it twice, feel better, do it 3 times, feel better? Is it one of those, or like I go in, I walk out instantly? I'm like, something's different. Yes. Is it work both of those ways?
Yes. So you should, and you probably will. Now, nothing's guaranteed in life except for death and taxes, but you will feel some sort of a difference right away. You might even feel it while you're in there. Of course, everybody's different.
Yeah, everyone's different. Everyone responds differently.
Yeah. So you'll definitely feel it right away. Whether that means like 15 minutes to an hour after you get out and you're walking around. Yeah. Or it's 5 minutes after you get out. Yeah. You'll definitely feel a difference. Yeah. I've had people come in that are in really good shape, especially from here at Reach. They come in, they're kind of skeptical, and they're in there, and they get out, and they're like, well, I don't really feel anything. And then a day later, they're like, holy crap, I hit 2 workouts. And I'm like, I really felt the difference on the second one. Well, yeah, because that's the surplus kicking in your body,
Yeah.
and your body's functioning at the level that you want it to function at.
Well, another like example of this too is when we talk about like refuel, like just simply refueling the body.
Yeah.
Right. If you have ex-athlete, I'm gonna talk about this when it comes to like nutrition,
Yeah.
or like even based on myself, like I'm focused on my nutrition is kind of my big thing right now.
Right, yeah.
And I see a huge difference.
Yeah.
I can see it happening when it comes to just my overall workouts, but then just like my body in general
Yeah.
and how it's recovering and repairing. Essentially, like it can be as basic as proteins, right?
Yeah.
Proteins and building blocks, carbohydrates and proteins. Yeah. Have a athlete doesn't recover, rehydrate, refuel well. B athlete does everything perfect. Like there is a difference,
Huge.
especially if you make them do it twice.
Huge.
Right? There is a big difference, and you can physically see it.
Uh-huh.
And I bet you they both can feel it too.
Oh, yeah.
And as someone that's focusing on it right now, like I feel a night and day difference.
Absolutely.
Like a night and day difference when it comes to energy, how my body's changing. Right?
Yeah.
I'm getting stronger very quickly.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing. Like you can feel the differences, and it's that process, right?
Yeah.
Do it once, feel good. Do it twice, feel good. Do it 3 times, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Do it 365, feel incredible.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Now, when it comes to manual therapy, let's flip over to that side.
Yeah.
Give me some examples of things. You mentioned things like cupping. You mentioned things. What's that tool? I call it the scraper, but that's not what it's called.
Scraper, a lot of people know it as Graston or Gua Sha.
Yep.
Gua Sha is a 3,000-year-old method of it.
Yep.
And then Graston came along after that. I don't have the Graston tools. I use rock tape. Actually makes a pretty cool scraper that you can use. I hate to say this, but it kind of looks like a pair of brass knuckles.
And that's
and
soft tissue release?
Yes. All the stuff is soft tissue related that I do. That's manual therapy. It's myofascial manipulation.
Yeah.
And people hear manipulation and they think it's painful, but nothing that I do is designed to cause more pain than you're already in.
Yeah, more pain than you came with.
Right.
Yeah.
Because if you do that, you're basically causing more trauma. So, I mean, the effects is you got to pick the right modality when somebody comes in with some sort of issue, whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
I mean, for instance, I had somebody come in yesterday who's more on the elderly side, and they were dealing with a lot of throat and swallowing issues and a lot of migraines, cluster headaches, that sort of thing. And sedentary because they're a wealth advisor, and more sedentary now because they've been home for the past almost year.
Yeah, big problem right now, by the way.
Huge problem. So got in and started talking to them about like just implementing even just walks for 30 minutes a day, 15 minutes a day to start with. And then I basically kept it extremely simple and easy technique-wise, and very almost boring, to where I just worked on their neck and their throat and their swallowing muscles, and the breathing muscles from the bottom of their neck up to their jaw, and for about 45 minutes to an hour, and stood up, and they said their whole neck felt lighter and they could swallow and breathe better.
Yeah.
So that's just, they could be that, or it could be a problem of like somebody had trauma when they were a kid, and it's just manifests itself over time to where now they can't even go upstairs.
Yeah.
So then that's a whole body problem.
Yeah.
Which most things are if they've gone on for a while.
Yeah. Well, exactly.
But and manual therapy is all about like it's choosing the right technique and the right intensity and the right duration.
Yeah.
It's kind of like training or working out.
Yeah. It's a dosage.
Yes.
It's an overall dosage.
Exactly.
Right? So, to put it in the layman's terms.
Yes.
Every person needs a different dosage. They need different volume. Just like a CrossFit. They need different volume. They need different intensity. They may need different load. Yeah. But there's a dosage that X person needs when they come into your office.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
now, let's touch on how you can make the relationship between, say you have here someone at the gym, right?
Yep.
CrossFit athlete.
Yep.
Because that's what we talk about a lot on this podcast. You have someone, they have nothing wrong with them.
Yep.
Everyone's got to touch maybe something tight, things like that. Right. But if you had to list off a few things that you could tell someone, like focus on this, focus on that before you work out or after you work out, when it comes to mobility, when it comes to soft tissue release before or after workout, when it comes to myofascial release, whatever it is. What are like a few tips or things that that are probably elementary that you might do before or after you work out, but could help the average CrossFitter? Like the biggest thing I tell everyone is like crossover symmetry, for example. 5 minutes, right? You're gonna have boulder shoulders. It's gonna bulletproof shoulders.
Yeah.
Like what are a few things that you could tell somebody that could help them, and it takes 10 minutes, 5 minutes?
I would say definitely some mobility movement like crossover symmetry, but it has to be more dynamic. It has to be a movement.
Yeah.
You know, again, everybody's different, but I think if you're going to come into the gym or the box and train or work out, I think that it's going to hinder you more to just come in and lay on a foam roller for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And just kind of lay there and kind of take it easy. Whether you come, I think it's better to get up and do some crossover symmetry, or maybe do some other your own mobility movements coordination wise. I mean, I have a full routine that I do.
Yeah.
I went through a whole 2-week intensive program of functional neurologist to kind of have a brain reset from injuries that I sustained playing hockey growing up and in college. And honestly, I come in, I look like a total goofball every day when I come in here and do them.
Hey,
but guess what?
But it works.
Right.
No
my
pain.
brain's turned on.
Yeah.
My eyes are turned on, which are very related to each other.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden my body follows.
Yep.
And I can go on and do whatever the warm-up is that we're doing, which is a lot of dynamic movements.
Yep.
And I think that helps.
Yeah.
I think that you got to come in, you got to find that movement series, whatever it is, to engages your brain and your body.
Yeah.
So,
well, there's certain things too. Like I tell people too, it's your own body.
Yeah.
You can feel what's going on.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
But the other thing too is you don't need an anatomy background to understand what's happening.
You don't.
Right. And you can look at workouts, and if there's people out there that can get really good at this, and that's what's kind of a separator for a lot of people in anything, right? Professional boxer, professional skater, whatever it is. Where, for example, in our world, today we have push jerk complex, right? If I go to put my hands over my head, it's tight, right? Probably tight my lats, rear delts, triceps, something like that.
Yep.
Take 30 seconds, roll it, mobilize it,
you gotta do.
anything like that.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, put your hands back over your head, feel great.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So start to look at things, right? Monday, we had stamina squats, squat complex, hamstrings killing me.
Yep.
Roll them. Now I can hit depth.
There it is.
Right? So it's understanding little things. That's all. I do that all through myofascial release. I have a Theragun.
Yeah.
Love it.
Right.
Absolutely love it. Hit it. When like today we had the jerk complex.
Yeah.
Hit my lats.
Yeah.
Hit my rear delts.
Good.
Triceps. All that. All of a sudden,
There
perfect
it is.
range of motion. That's all it is. And it takes 30 seconds.
Yeah.
But you can do it on a lacrosse ball. I know people that they can hit different just mobility stretches and dynamic stretches that can hit it.
Yep.
But just opening up the things that need to be open changes workouts completely.
Absolutely.
Right? Squatting, hamstrings tight. Hit the hamstrings. Right? Ankle mobility's tight. Stretch your calves. Right? Simple stuff. That makes a world of difference when it comes to especially moving in CrossFit. Because you don't want one thing tight. All of a sudden, if you're bowing to the right side when you're squatting, problem. Right? That's going to create other problems. If you can't put your hands over your head, problem. That's going to create other problems. And like you said, do it for 2 weeks being tight and then figure it out. Okay, you got it. Do it for 3 months, could create another problem. Do it for 30 years, now you got a world of problems. Right? And you probably see that all the time, I can imagine.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
Especially with people that are somewhat sedentary.
Right, yeah.
Hip flexors.
Right.
Tight hip flexors, tight hamstrings.
Yeah.
Right? That's sitting. Right? That's what sitting is. So if you're out there and you're like, my back hurts, well, you got probably tight hamstrings and tight hip flexors.
Probably.
Right?
Probably.
Now, let's just talk about in general.
Yeah.
Where are you going to see go? We met today actually because you're going to run up a podcast at some point. But with your business, things like that, where do you see yourself going? Do you have any big things? It's 2021 now. Right. Still in January, but what's ahead for Tim?
Start my own podcast. I got to make this business grow.
Yep.
I have the baseline version of the hyperbaric chamber now. I'd like to get the hard-shelled one that's a little bit bigger, and kind of progress that. Just being someone that's a go-to for, you can come to the office for anything that you want and just become part of the community more this year. And I think that, the more and more that I'm around, here at Reach, I'm around more of the coaches and, ownership here and around in my own neighborhood. And I want to build it so it's just a better, bigger understanding that, if I can impact people, I guess I should say that this way, I want to positively impact people.
Yeah.
That, you don't have to go out. You don't have to be like an elite CrossFit athlete. You don't have to be like a Fraser or a Toomey or anybody like that. You don't have to. Yeah. And if I can inspire people and combination with, the coaching staff here at Reach or anybody else that I come in contact with this year, and have them live a healthier lifestyle, and like have the light bulb come on and have them understand their bodies better over the next year, in whatever capacity that is. Be it my own podcast, be it them coming in to my own office, or telling them, hey, if you want to start a training routine or a different, healthier lifestyle, contact the guys over at Reach.
Well, that's the thing. It's the most rewarding thing as being. I call anyone in the health field you're somewhat of a coach. You are, because you're partially a life coach, but then everyone's got their own things.
Right.
I give the prescription of movement. Right. You give the prescription of recovery. Like everyone's prescription is different, but essentially we're all coaches in helping people change their life. One day at a time, right? Come in, doesn't matter if you come into the office, doesn't matter if you come to the gym, right? You made a step to come in and make something better. Make something feel better. And like I said, you do that over 365, right? That's 365% better. If it's 1% better every day, do that for 30 years, your body's better, you feel better, things change. It's little changes every time, right? That's all that anyone's trying to do. Physical therapists, trainers, coaches, whatever it is, that's all we're trying to accomplish, right? And you had a great statement earlier when we were talking. It's health over healthcare.
It's more health, less healthcare.
More health, less healthcare. That's the biggest picture in what we're doing right now when it comes to, and I think you can attest. I mean, the biggest one's obesity. I find being someone that prescribes exercise, obesity. Get off the couch. Do something. I don't care what it is. I coach CrossFit. I don't care. I could care less. I could care less what you do. Let's go for a walk. Let's take a hike. Play disc golf. I don't care what it is.
Doesn't matter.
Do something. Because the body's meant to do things.
Move.
Right? It's not meant to sit here type of way. Yeah, that pays the bills, but when you're done with that, do something. It doesn't matter what it is, right? That's what the body's meant to do. So that's all that I'm going after. And if we do more of that and less of sitting around or Netflix, things like that, we need less things later on in life, right? We need less help. You can do more things. I always talk about, my biggest goal is, I never want people to carry my groceries. I'm 85. I never want people to carry my groceries. I never want to have to take a chairlift. Ever. And I always want to be able to at least travel and see family later on. If I can't do those things, what is life? What am I doing? You know what I mean? I'm not doing much of anything. I can't go to the grocery store, can't move around, and if I can't walk up and down stairs, I'm pretty much a one-room kind of hobbit type style person, you know what I mean? So,
it's funny because that's funny you say that, because I was just thinking about that earlier today. I was thinking that, when I was getting dressed for the day, my dad's in his early 70s, and, he's in pretty good health, and he, doesn't do CrossFit, but he works out and does all kinds of other stuff.
He does something.
Right. And so does my mom, but she's a little bit younger than him. But I was thinking to myself, and then I saw that CrossFit.com or some website, maybe it was something like that. Anyway, they showed a guy, they announced that there was somebody that signed up for the CrossFit Open this year who was in his early to mid 70s. And he was the only one. And I was like, you know what? That's a goal.
That's a goal, right?
When I'm in my 70s, I want to be able to do that in my 70s.
And when you relate it back to CrossFit, we are a short tenured thing. We're not even at 20 years yet. We're just over a decade.
Right.
So as we come down the pipe here more and what we do here, you're going to see things like that begin to open themselves up.
Absolutely.
But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter, like I said, it doesn't matter what you're doing. You're setting yourself up. If you're a 20-year-old, I'm 24. I just turned 24. I'm not setting myself up for my 30s. I'm setting myself up for my 50s and my 60s.
That's right.
Right? And it's hard to think about that, but in 30 years from now, you can look at someone that did exercise and prescribe something when they were in their 20s, their 30s, their 40s, and then you can look at someone that took it off, and it's the 60s and the 70s are going to be completely different. Completely different. It's like I said, you're just investing, right? Everyone wants a good retirement, and that's not just money in your pocket.
No, that's definitely not that.
If you have all the money in the world and you can't stand up, what's the money going to do?
It's not going to do anything.
And that's what you're talking about. It's health over anything, really, essentially. In all these facets, nutrition, therapy, exercise is medicine, all this stuff. That's what all this encompasses. Exactly. Now, anything else? TS Manual Therapy, is that the name of it? If someone looks it up, where can we find you? I know what I follow you on Instagram.
Yeah.
So it's just TS Manual Therapy, right?
TS Manual Therapy. If you Google it, you should probably Google TS Manual Therapy and Recovery.
Okay.
It should probably come up with that. I also have a Facebook page.
Yep.
And you can check out the website. It's a pretty decent website. It's always evolving.
Yeah, exactly. Like everything.
But if you need to contact me at any one of those platforms.
Yeah.
And I'd be happy to help anybody and integrate into their life and having a better version of themselves.
Exactly.
So,
and like I said, I follow Tim already on Instagram, and he posts great things about great simple things.
Yes.
That you can learn. Simple habits you can pick up in life. Simple things in that manual therapy world. Like we said, hamstrings are tight, right? Here's a variation, stretch them out. Things like that. Where it's little things that you can do. Little things you can learn. And you're always learning.
Absolutely.
Right? Last thing, you're always hopefully you're always changing, adapting, evolving, and always learning.
Absolutely.
Anything that you do. Try and learn something new every day.
Yeah.
When it comes to your body, because that's just another way how your body gets better.
Right.
Learn something about it, adapt it in, get a little bit better. Learn something, adapt, get better. That's part of that change process.
Absolutely.
Too.
Variation.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, that's another episode with Tim Shaw, TS Manual Therapy. Look him up. I want to try the hyperbaric changer. That sounds fun. But very cool. Thanks, Tim.
All right, no problem.
Pour me another one. Make it a strong one. We're gonna have some fun tonight. Just like the other one. Make it a double rum. We're gonna cast away tonight. I'm in an island state of mind. Don't think I'm ever gonna leave. I'd rather stay and watch the waves smooth the sand beneath my feet. Reggae on the radio, laying low and feeling high. Easy living down in paradise. Pour me another one.